I recently got back from a trip to Iceland, and these were the two bags that I brought. So flying with Iceland Air, they have more strict baggage requirements than most airlines. So this is the Shimoda, I believe it's the Shimoda Explorer 35-liter V2. And then this is I'm gonna butcher the name, but I believe it's a Fjallraven Greenland shoulder bag. So this was considered my carry-on item that would get stowed above the seats, and then this was my personal item that would go below the seats. And we'll start with what's in the personal item because it's smaller and easier. So in here, I just have one of these Tenba, I don't know, it's supposed to be like an ICU, internal core unit. So I have this, and in here I kept my primary and favorite lens. This was my main lens of the trip. It's the new Sigma 15mm f1.4 fisheye lens. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. It was fantastic for Iceland. It's probably the best Aurora lens money can buy, and I'm actually looking to buy another one or two of these. So I had the 15mm, and then in here I get warm in airports, so I always have this little neck fan thing. These things are great for like 10 or 20 bucks on Amazon. And then I kept one of my Sony ZV-E1s with the Sony 16mm f1.8 attached to it. So I had this in the personal item bag so that when I was on the airplane I could actually shoot Aurora out of the window. This is a very nice handheld camera for doing that. It's an awesome little vlogging camera. So this is one of the two ZV-E1s that I brought. And then in this little pouch, this was the powerhouse of my travels. So it's the Fujifilm X100 VI. This is just about the best travel camera that money can buy, in my opinion. Just shoot straight out of camera JPEGs. It's absolutely awesome. So that's what I kept in the personal item. And then over here in the Shimoda, I had more camera gear. So in the bottom here, this is a brand new DJI Mini 5 Pro. These were kind of hard to get. I bought it, didn't even open it. Like, I took it out of the box, put it in here, it fits great, and I didn't use it the whole trip. So I've brought drones to Iceland several times, and I very rarely, if ever, use it. I really need to stop bringing them. What I've learned is I love how drone pictures and videos look. However, I don't actually enjoy using the drone. So I need to find someone to come with who does. Then in addition, I had two other bodies and two lenses. So both of these are Sigma 14mm f1.4s. This is a Sony ZV-E1, my second body. And then this is a Sony A1 Mark II. It's more of my wildlife body, but I brought it as just kind of a backup. And then up in here, I have just a little mini bag that had the camera that I'm filming on right now, the hat camera, which I think is the Insta360 Go 3S. And then I had an Insta360 X5 360 camera in here. So with Iceland Air, this is a lot less camera bag than I would usually bring, which is why I had camera gear in here and in the personal item over there. But yeah, it allowed me to bring quite a bit of equipment. I'll just pull all this out and show what it all looks like. And it fits nice and tight in there. No worries about getting damaged or anything. So in here, it's a little Tellison case. You can see this is the case for the hat cam. That's my 360 camera. And then again, if you haven't seen a Mini 5 Pro, the bag is a little bit bigger than some of the predecessors, but you've got the controller with the screen, you got the drone, 2 extra batteries, and then some of this other stuff. Yeah. So we got the drone, we got one of the ZV-E1s, we got 2 ZV-E1s, a Sony A1 Mark II. We've got a 14mm f1.4, a second 14mm f1.4, a 15mm f1.4, the X100 VI, the kind of like action cameras, and then my neck fan. And then in addition to this, I had batteries and memory cards, and I also brought 3 tripods in my checked bag along with all my clothes. But essentially this is what I took as far as camera gear. Here's a look at basically all of the camera gear in its entirety that I was able to fit in my personal and my carry-on. And then as I mentioned, I did have batteries, SD cards, chargers, all of that stuff, but I don't think people really care about that. And then in the checked bag, I brought all of my clothes as well as my 3 tripods. So my goal with this trip was I had the X100 VI down here to take pictures of, you know, friends, family, landscapes, and all of that. And then every other camera and body that I brought, or camera lens body combination that I brought, was basically focused on Aurora. So what I would have going on is I'd always have my 2 ZV-E1s. Usually I had one on video and one on time-lapse. With one of these f1.4 lenses, I had an extra just as backup. And then the A1 II, I didn't even really use. I think I used it once this trip. It's more of a wildlife body. Usually I'd bring a 100 to 400 for like whale watching or something. This time, with all the stuff that I brought and the fact that the people I was traveling with didn't want to go whale watching or didn't care about wildlife, I didn't bring a 100 to 400. I really should have, because I saw reindeer and whales and birds and everything. But yeah, that's basically what I brought. And this trip was a trial run with this new 15mm f1.4 fisheye. I absolutely loved it. So previously and in prior years, I'd taken 2 of the 14mm. This year I obviously brought that pair plus the 15. I'm having difficulty finding another 15, but I will be selling both of these 14s because in my experience, the 15mm fisheye is better in just about every way. You know, less distortion, sharper stars, wider field of view by a significant margin. So I just love it. And then this relatively cheap 16mm f1.8 that just came out. This is just a great pocketable lens that you can keep everywhere. As I mentioned, I would keep it in my bag attached to one of the ZV-E1s so that I could shoot when I was in the airport or on the airplane for Aurora or whatever. I much prefer these big lenses. They're a little bit faster aperture, much wider field of view, and then the thing that I really love is having this focus lock. I messed up one of the best pictures I've ever taken a few years ago because I had a lens that didn't have a focus lock. But that being said, I will be keeping the 16 because it is just such a versatile piece of kit, and it's so cheap and so light and so small. There's really no reason not to have one. But yeah, that's the combination of photography gear that I took. Hope you enjoyed.